Welcome, everybody, to Reserve Seating. We are in the final week of Jason Scott Lee month, and it's bittersweet, but it's not because it's like almost baseball season. So, like, the three of us just kind of want to talk about baseball right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that as a separate episode
We'll,
sometime.
we'll
Would you
crank out
guys
some
like it?
soldier talk and then we'll talk baseball.
Yeah, yeah. And also put in the comments, like, would you like a week off movies and just for us to talk about baseball? Kurt Russell. Probably saw that David Webb Peoples wrote a script. The screenwriter, the co-screenwriter of Blade Runner, the screenwriter of Unforgiven, um, and he was just like, surely a sci-fi action movie written by this guy is going to be good. And he starred in Soldier, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, co-starring Jason Scott Lee, Jason Isaacs, Sean Pertwee, Connie Nielsen, Gary Busey, and more, including a Santa Claused up Michael Chiklis, which is
Oh
one
yeah.
of the cursed images of the movie.
Can we introduce Adam Foss?
Oh, fuck.
Our special guest this week is
Okay.
our friend Adam Foss.
Hi guys, how's it going?
How's it going, buddy?
Adam Foss is here.
Adam
I'm
Foss is
so
here.
sorry, Thas.
That's okay.
Oh.
That's fine.
Reserve seating starts right now.
Thas, what did you think of Soldier? Was this your first time seeing it or what?
I have not seen it since I saw it on VHS
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so many years and years and years ago.
What are our general Paul W.S. Anderson thoughts? Because I realized while watching this movie that I don't know that I like most of his movies, and yet I am still very pro PWS. I don't know why.
I think he's so like unpretentious that
Yeah,
it makes it easy to root for
to root
him.
for him. Yeah.
I was talking to Patrick about this. I can name on one hand uh five because one hand Paul W.S. Anderson movies that I would go to bat for. I would go to bat for Mortal Kombat, for Event Horizon,
Horizon.
for Monster Hunter, for Death Race, and maybe the first Resident Evil.
Yeah, see, I don't like his Resident Evil movies.
I
I'm
don't like the other ones.
I love Event Horizon. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Yeah,
That movie's great. He's got a definite aesthetic to how he likes to light movies and things like that.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of like a stamp on them. So if you're a fan of that aesthetic, which I am, like you can get
It's
behind
the
most
Duke
of it.
Nukem look. It's the
It
90s
really
video.
is, yeah.
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 Rob, did you like Kurt Russell in the movie?
So here's my, I mean, I like Kurt Russell. The Kurt Russell rule, obviously. The Kurt Russell rule is that Kurt Russell rules. And
Yeah.
that's,
I don't think this is a good it's not a bad performance, but I don't think they give him really anything to do. The movie's sort of like oops all villains. Thas, do you have a favorite villain of the many options in this movie?
I mean, you got to go with Jason Scott Lee, I think,
Sure.
right?
yeah.
I depending on your mileage for the Jason Isaacs stuff.
That's true. You know what? I actually is Gary Busey a
Mhm.
villain in this
I
movie?
literally had that note written down. I said,
Because they off him at
Yeah.
the end of this movie like he's a villain, and
well,
he kind of plays the entire movie not as the villain.
yeah, but Isaac's offs him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's kind of like the noble antagonist who is there to die to prove that Isaac's is a prick, right? Isn't that kind of what it is?
I guess. I just would have liked to seen Gary make it to the end of
For
that one.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I always consider him like he's maybe the most moral and like conflicted of them, but he could have done more not to be complicit in the whole thing.
Talk about this script.
Yeah.
I really want, like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when Kurt Russell received the script for this movie, and he was
Mm.
like, he had 2 pages of speaking lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They said
he,
104 words.
yeah, it's remarkable how little he does in this movie. It's like he watched Rambo First Blood Part Two and was like, I think I can outdo that.
I don't think he's bad in this. I just don't like we said like it doesn't like you bring Kurt Russell in to be charming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't bring him in for this.
You hire Kurt Russell to maximize charisma and star power and charm. And not saying that he can't play a darker character or like a brooding character, but you do that like his character in Stargate. That's how you do that. And in Soldier is so much like a Dolph Lundgren movie from when Masters of the Universe came out. Like that's who should be cast as Todd, aka Kurt Russell. Like it's somebody who's not real verbal and like you can mask their lack of aptitude for say like the language that the movie's in by just having them be reliant on their physicality. So it's like having Kurt Russell do that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I think you're right in the sense that like if he just kind of did his Stargate thing,
Yeah.
it would have worked a little bit better. Where he doesn't listen, he doesn't have to go full on Big Trouble in Little China. Like we don't
Yeah.
No,
that's
he
not
doesn't
going
need
to
to be a
work in this
goofball.
movie. But
Mhm.
like you're kind of just taking somebody who has shown that he could be charming and then being like, let's make him as uncharming as we possibly can.
I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth on his performance because it's sort of like fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like one thing is, okay, Warner Brothers must have been shitting their pants when The Postman came out and bombed because they were like, "Oh no, we have another post-futuristic shantytown movie coming out. Like expensive. We're gonna lose another tens of millions of dollars on this one." So he doesn't, so Kurt Russell doesn't have anybody to really, I don't know. There's no real compelling co-stars, I think, in that
No.
portion of the movie. There's good actors. It's just there's no characters that come to life.
Well, because by design, his character has to remain stoic, and then there's that interval in the middle of the movie where he gets kicked out, and then they immediately bring him back.
Yeah,
So they're
Within
like,
like 10
because of one
minutes.
snake.
yeah,
You can do this better than what Kurt Russell is doing because if you look at Solo or Terminator
or
2 or Universal Soldier, like Schwarzenegger, Van Peebles, Van Damme, they all find a way to like, oh, this is my beat where I'm becoming more human. Not that like Kurt Russell is a robot or anything, because that's not who he is in this movie. But like Kurt Russell never breaks from like that robotic
yeah.
POV, which is weird. I don't know.
I don't want to dump on this movie because like it's fun. Like
Oh, it's
it's
so
Sure.
fun watching it. Like I don't want to dump on this movie, but like where I keep going back to is we're all aware of story arcs, Like you have a character who learns something and then is a different person at the end of the movie. And it's like Kurt Russell is one way at the beginning, learns nothing, and is the same way at the end of the movie. It's like we just
yeah.
watched this guy exist in a different environment.
Yeah, I
Thus,
agree with you about like not wanting to dump on the movie. Like my sympathy is towards, being pro soldier, but I can't point to anything that's like really good about it. It's just that I like it, which is fine, but it's just like it's hard to talk about in the space of a review other than just to say like it's yay beer. It's
it's
like
like
that kind of movie.
It's incredibly short. Like it,
yeah,
it
Yeah.
gets
it's a
right
really
into
quick
it right
watch.
away.
I don't like the trope in movies where dude is crushing on other dude's wife, and then dude dies without either of them having to do anything. And then he gets to the lane opens up for the girl at the end. I feel like he should have to earn, there should be something like a complication or something. That was bothering me in this movie.
Yeah, like you set up love triangles,
Right.
create
Mhm.
a
Tension.
point of drama.
Like to your point, like he would have to like learn to become more human or something to sort of, if I don't know, something. There needs to be something there instead of just dude dies and the presumption is like he's going to take over as dad and husband.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, guess he'll do."
Do you recall the TNG season 3 episode The Hunted, where the super soldier rebels against the like fascist government and Picard helps him? They're gonna like try him for murder, they're hunting him down, but Picard won't give him up because he's like, no, he's justified. You experimented on this group of super soldiers and we're not gonna help you arrest them and execute them because that was wrong. That's where I was hoping this movie would be going, where like Russell would lead like a revolt of the super soldiers or something like that, and then it didn't go anywhere.
So when they have like his boys like go out there
Yeah.
and they're like, "Go
Yes.
set up some stuff," and like go out there and like, "This is it. These guys are going to get together. They're going to take everything back." And really, what happens is they're just like, "Todd, what's up, man?
Exactly.
You took
Mm.
care of everything for us. Thanks, brah."
Well,
Uh,
also like the soldiers on both sides, like the 2.0s and the
Yeah.
1.0s and everything like that, they're just automatons sort of following orders, so there's no like fight for their own existence
Right.
that's really displayed, which is kind of a miss. So I don't know. Like it's more like you just are watching it solely on functional action level. It's like playing with two action figures and just mashing them together, and that's the joy of Soldier.
It's like a 2.5 star action movie that like is passable as an appetizer to like something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
But
I mean, that scene where he sets up the fake sniper and they all go after him, and then oh, come on, that scene's great. That's
yeah,
great.
there's some
There's
good
stuff.
stuff.
There's stuff in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is a 1998 movie. So if you're pre-gaming for F This Movie Fest, this is a great choice. It's a really good pizza and beer movie.
totally.
Invite your friends over. It's good
There's no
stuff.
point where you're gonna have to come back from the bathroom and be like, "What I miss?" Like it same
Yeah.
things happening that was happening
The same
before.
thing as before.
While you're both here and we were talking about Star Trek TNG, in '98, Star Trek Insurrection came out.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of that movie because I feel like it's just an episode of the television show.
yeah, that's a
More so
Frakes one,
than,
right? Frakes directed that one.
yeah, yeah.
His
What are you
tenure,
guys' thoughts on that one?
I like that movie. I'm gonna be such a like fly in the ointment here.
No, that's
There's
fine.
one scene in that movie that I hate so much that
What
every
is it?
time I try and bring the joy out of that movie, there's like a part where they're going after these drones,
yeah.
and it's like a standoff, like a Western standoff where they like come up and they like,
Hmm.
like Crusher like takes out her like phaser, and I'm just like, oh my god, I wish that this scene was not the movie because it is so unearned
Oh,
in the movie that I just can't get past that one scene. Otherwise, I'd totally dig it.
I have not watched any of these in the longest time. I'm not a big TNG movie guy. I don't love the TNG movies for the typical complaint that like they make the cast into action heroes,
Yeah.
and I don't always love it. Like, but I will definitely because I'm in a TNG headspace as I almost always am. I will totally rewatch Insurrection, especially because I know I tend to like the Jonathan Frakes directed ones better.
So, Rob, I want to put you on the hot seat
Sick.
for the end of the episode
Okay.
because you and I have had, you talking about Phillies conversations and I'm talking about White Sox conversations. And there's a phenomenon where I will talk about the White Sox and then you try to meet me halfway and you say, well, like the Phillies also have problems. And I feel like you don't understand the problems that the White Sox are having. So I want you to explain to Thas and I, what is your perception of White Sox baseball?
The Phillies are the
No,
weakest
stop. We are
team
not talking about the Phillies.
in the
We're
history
only
of
talking about the
MLB.
White Sox. What is your perception of the White
It's
Sox?
real bad, guys.
And whenever you try and talk to us about the Phillies, it's like
It's like a slap in the face three
All right,
times.
yeah, it's
I
like
will.
us going like our house burned down yesterday, and you're like, dude, I get it, man. I burnt a bagel this morning.
It's like I was run over by a car this weekend and I might not ever walk again. And you're like, my Entertainment Weekly came on Monday instead of Saturday.
Once again, the losingest team in the history of MLB. I understand, but no, I do sympathize. I
Why did you point at your Phillies hat? The White Sox are the losingest team
no,
in the
in the
history.
history of baseball,
When
like
you add up all the
all of
losses.
Is
baseball.
that true?
Yes, the Phillies
Yeah.
are the worst team in baseball history.
We will
The
be
White
back
Sox.
next week to celebrate 1998 week in anticipation of F This Movie Fest. We're joined by Jan and John uh, for Slums of Beverly Hills and Rushmore, a double feature of indie cinema from '98. So until next time.
These seats have their names written right here.